I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. I feel like it's been a while since I filmed because I was away at a conference, so the videos for my last 2 weeks have been pre-recorded, and now I'm like, what do I do with this camera? But today I have a currently reading for you, but I also want to start with some kind of life update stuff. So if you're like, Elizabeth, I don't care about your life, you are welcome to skip ahead. I have the chapters marked, or whatever they're called. So yeah, life stuff first, and then we will talk about the 4 books that I am currently reading. Let's jump in. So the first life thing that I want to tell you about has to do with my book, Recovering Lost Voices, 19th Century Literature. It is a collection of essays that I edited with my friend Michaela George about lesser known 19th century authors, recovering them and kind of putting some scholarly work out there on them that was not there before. So I am very excited to announce that in addition to being available in this lovely hardcover and in an ebook, Recovering Lost Voices is now available in paperback. And there is a discount code in the description below for the publisher's website that will give you 30% off of the paperback until, I believe, July 14th. So if you want to purchase this, or if you want to recommend that your university library purchase it, please feel free to do that using this code, and that would be very exciting. So, yeah, paperback. Yay! I don't have the paperback, I only have the hardcover, but that's fine. So the other life stuff is more personal. I've had kind of the craziest 2 weeks of my life. I don't know if they're actually the craziest 2 weeks, but it's been crazy. So as some of you know, I was away at a conference. I left on Wednesday, May 6th, came back on Tuesday, May 12th. The day before I left, May 5th, my dog, Willow, who some of you will have seen in one of my Victober vlogs, she lives with my parents. On May 5th, she was diagnosed with cancer, and it is rapidly progressing. She's fading very quickly. So I found that out and then had to immediately leave and go to a conference for a week and like be happy and on and talking about my work and engaging with other people's work, which honestly was a good distraction. But when I came home on Tuesday of last week, she had significantly deteriorated, and she just kind of keeps getting a little bit worse every day. So we're gonna have to say goodbye soon, which sucks. She's 10 years old. She just turned 10 at the end of April, and I really thought we were gonna have at least 2 more years with her, if not 3 or 4 or even 5, because she had always been in very good health up until this point. So yeah. So I wanted to let you guys know this so that if I go quiet for a week or 2, you know that it's probably because of that. I don't know if I will go quiet. Sometimes I like to just have the distraction of making videos when something like this happens, but it's very possible that I'm just gonna go radio silent for a little bit, and I wanted you guys to be aware of why if that does happen. So, animals are the most wonderful thing in the world, and owning one is the greatest privilege and joy that I can think of. But unfortunately, they do not live as long as us, and saying goodbye is the worst. And it's a pain I've gone through many times because I have owned many dogs over the years, and it never gets any easier because you love them. And Willow is really my heart dog. So yeah, that's, I wanted you guys to know this in case I go radio silent. In slightly happier news to top off my crazy week, so I got back from my conference on the 12th. My graduation was on the 15th. So I literally like got to sleep for 2 days and then had to be up and awake and out standing in the rain for my graduation. So that was fun. It was really fun though. I was walking with 3 of my friends. Even though I graduated in September, technically, my university only does one ceremony in May. So that's why I was walking in May, even though I graduated in 2025. But yeah, so I don't know, I'll put a picture here just so that the life update doesn't end on something super depressing, because this was like a really happy thing, and my parents and my husband Steven were there, and it was really nice, and I'm glad that I did it. I wasn't gonna do it, but my parents really wanted me to, so I did, and I'm glad that I did. So let's move into the currently reading portion of this video. First and foremost, we have, of course, it's been here since January. We have Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, still in volume 1. And I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I've not read a word of this since my last currently reading in April. It just hasn't happened. With the chaos of getting ready for the conference and finishing up that conference paper, and then, you know, traveling for the conference and the graduation and Willow, like this just hasn't happened at all. I'm really gonna try to get back to it starting this week and like try to go back to a chapter a day, which really has never worked, but you know, if I start with that goal, then sometimes I'll at least read a chapter every few days. It's not that I'm not liking it, I really am actually, it's just in my second language and it's hard, and yeah. I feel like I've given you this spiel 6,000 times. So yeah, still reading Les Mis, will be for the foreseeable future. Will I ever make it out of volume 1? Who knows? Next up is The Blue Stockings, A History of the First Women's Movement by Susanna Gibson. I started this in April. It was the group read for People April and also happened to be on my 50 books for the year list. I didn't get to finish it in April for reasons. Largely also relating to why I haven't been reading Les Mis, but also just I got distracted by other books. I am a significant portion of the way through. I'm on chapter 8, which starts on page 194, and I have how many chapters left? 4 chapters left, so I am almost done with this, and I would like to finish it this week if possible. I am loving this. I really like the way that Gibson has set this up. She kind of focuses on a different woman in each chapter, or like maybe 2 of them, but she'll go back to like one woman that she started with, and in a later chapter she'll go back to her and we'll hear more about her. She's done that so far with Hester Thrale and Elizabeth Montagu, who are 2 of the kind of major women of the Blue Stockings. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying learning about this. Really found the chapter that she wrote on Hannah More quite interesting, which chapter was that? I don't even remember anymore. Just had a very long chapter on motherhood. Oh yeah, here it is. It was chapter 4, The Milking Parlor, which was about Hannah More and her relationship with Anne Yearsley, who was a working class woman who was a poet and who she kind of sponsored, but things went pretty sour. So I had already learned a bit about Hannah More in Rebecca Romney's Jane Austen's bookshelf, but honestly, I thought it was a different Hannah More when I started this, because I did not get the sense from Romney's depiction of More that More would be a blue stocking. So I was like, oh, it must be a different Hannah More. No, same Hannah More. And then I started realizing that as Gibson was talking about stuff with Yearsley, and I was like, oh, huh. Because More was introduced pretty early on in here in the introduction. And I was like, can't possibly be the same Hannah More. No, same Hannah More. So that's been really interesting to kind of get a different look at some of these women, because some of them are ones that Rebecca Romney talked about. Frances Burney, Hester Thrale, who's going to become Hester Thrale Piazzi, I believe it's pronounced. I actually just saw a really great talk at the conference on her journals and scrapbooks. It was great. Anyway. So yeah, I'm loving this, and I'll hopefully finish it this week. Next up is actually another nonfiction. It's not one that I meant to start. I guess I started it last month also, actually. Yeah, it wasn't one that I meant to pick up. It is actually a new book, and you'll be seeing it in a book haul that I'm going to film right after this. This is The Silent Woman, Sylvia Plath and Ted Hughes by Janet Malcolm. I started it because I needed a book to bring to my hair appointment, and my husband was in a job interview sitting right here, and I usually keep the books that I'm currently reading right here, and I'd already bothered him once to get me my glasses, which were also behind him, and I didn't want to make him more irritated or interrupt his interview more. So I just grabbed this one because it was on the shelf in the other room. And I am interested in reading it, obviously, because it's Sylvia Plath, and I'm in my second Plath era still. So this is quite interesting. It's kind of a look at Plath's afterlife and the way that her estate was handled, and kind of the effects on Ted Hughes, and different biographies of her. And Malcolm seems kind of like down on biography, honestly. And then I'm like, but you're kind of writing a biography. It's very interesting. She's doing a lot of what Emily Van Duyn does in Loving Sylvia Plath, but Van Duyn has more information than Malcolm had, because this is from the 90s, I think. Yeah, 93. So new stuff has come to light since this book was written. So it's really interesting. She's very sympathetic to Hughes, I find, which, knowing some things from Van Duyn's book, I'm like, I don't think he deserves the sympathy. But that's fine. Anyway, this is good so far. I'm only like 40 pages in, and stopped in the middle of a chapter because why not? Does this even have chapter? Oh, it does. It's just there, not on separate pages. I'm in chapter 5. So yeah, 40 pages out of, with notes, 213. Oh, not even with notes. It's all interesting. Really, where's the notes? There's no notes? No notes, that's odd. Anyway, but I'm kind of holding off on this until I've finished the Blue Stockings. I really prefer to be reading one work of nonfiction at a time. So, yeah. I'll definitely be continuing with this, just probably not this week. And the final book that I'm reading is another one that I just recently bought and had not had any intention of reading. Had actually said, I'm not going to read or buy this right now because I already have an unread book from this author on my shelf. This is A Life for a Life by Dinah Mullet Craig. So I've read 3 books by Craig and really liked 2 of them. This has been on my radar because it is a Victoria's Archives edition and I really like them. It's also been on my radar because Katie from Books and Things just recently finished it and loved it. I think she might have said that it's currently her favorite book of the year. So I'm like, ooh, I really want to read that, but I have The Laurel Bush by Craig already and wanted to read that first before buying and reading this. However, while I was at the conference, I learned of another conference that's happening in September, the Victorians Institute Conference. And the theme for that is Matters of Life and Death. And as you can see from the title, A Life for a Life, I was like, oh, this book is gonna have some good stuff for that. And I am 75 pages in, just at the start of chapter 6, and I've already highlighted so many things. I'm like, I could take this so many ways. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm reading this even though I had no intention to. It is a really interesting story about Dora Johnston and Dr. Max Urquhart. And we are getting the story from both of them in diary entries. It kind of like alternates whose diary we're reading in each chapter. And this is so good so far. These 2 are obviously going to fall in love. But Dr. Urquhart has a kind of secret that's haunting him. We don't know what it is yet, but I'm gonna guess it has something to do with this title. And it's just so good so far. It is so well written. These characters are fascinating, and I just cannot wait to see where this story goes. I am really hoping to finish this week, just because the conference proposal is due on June 1st. And if you look at a calendar, from now to June 1st is not a very long time. So I would like to get it finished this week so that then next week I can focus on my reread of North and South and, you know, not have to read 2 Victorian novels at the same time. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is so good so far. So that is what I am currently reading, along with a bit of a life update. Let me know down in the comments, have you read any of these? What did you think? What are you reading right now? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.